ESY and the changes that have been discussed in PPTs or conferences or wherever in the district. So we're going to let Nancy address what the district is kind of rolling out and what we're doing for ESY.
So one of the things that we've been trying to do is, I hope almost everybody has heard about it by now, because that was my expectation, is that if you didn't have a PPT schedule, that we'll be sharing with you what we're going to be proposing, so that parents had an opportunity to schedule vacations and understand what kind of arranged daycare that they might need, and make those plans.
So can you say more about that? If you didn't have your PPT yet, who are you informing and how?
Case managers have been letting parents know what the plans are, so that while it's going to be discussed with a PPT, they're sharing what is going to be proposed and talking through what ESY is going to be like this year, so that parents are aware of the weeks and general exit hours.
I'm sorry, just to check in, has anybody heard from their case manager about this? Nobody.
Well,
We
one
have
person,
just because we get a weekly
we just
call.
heard because
There
we
you
have a
go.
All
weekly
right.
call.
Just so you know.
Sunday.
You were all shocked when you
That's
just
April.
All right.
No idea.
Well, I'm glad you told me that,
There's the
because
communication piece.
this is
Just
why
checking
this is
in.
such a good
Just
opportunity.
to be here to be able to bring
Right.
it back.
Well, it should get broadcasted at school. If that's
In
what the plan
actuality,
is gonna be, it needs to
ESY
be.
is, again, on an individualized basis, so I think that these are the discussions that should happen in a PPT, so that the parents are part of the team making decisions.
But are
I-
you part of that?
Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't disagree
We
with
can
you,
go down that
Melissa,
road,
but
but that's the issue.
there's also guidance that we get that we have to give parents some notice of what
Yeah,
the
I mean, a heads up
generalities are.
is always good, but that's where we're stuffing kids into a basket and saying, as a district, we've created this, and your kid is gonna get that, when.
The decision she's talking about.
Yeah,
the
so I
decision
mean,
of
giving
what.
parents a heads up is one thing, but kind of cramming all of our kids that get ESY into something that we've created as a district, and then getting the word out to parents, whether they're getting it out or not,
Right.
is, can be confusing out of context of a PPT where decisions are made.
So, I do wanna say that, we are still making individual decisions about ESY, and that, it really isn't atypical in most districts that there be some kind of, in the same way like that we look at the service delivery at the high school, sort of an overarching plan that can accommodate most children, but there still may need to be a plan to accommodate individual children differently.
I'm gonna tell you, I meant to dig it out, because I have a big fat folder from past years, but Tony Kidd, whether you know him or not, was really good, and every year at Spedpac, and we're gonna do this next year, every year at Spedpac, he came with this big thing that Diana actually made him get, I think Karen one year made him do, when she was our sped director, and it basically outlined all of the kids in the district, and without names, obviously, but this kid was going to the Channel 3 kids camp, and this kid was gonna go to the Park and Rec, and we had 10 kids going here and 10 kids going there, and it was really kind of a nice way for parents to see what options potentially, remember that?
Yeah.
Diane, remember
Can
that?
I ask a
It was a
question?
presentation every year we had.
Can I
It
ask
was
a
really
question,
good.
because Tony Kidd's been gone for a long time,
Yeah.
good, bad, or indifferent, whatever, no, I don't really, I just can't, I don't really know him, so here and now, so what's the option? When you go into your PPT,
Well, do
from
you want me
my,
to talk about what sort of, where we've looked at things in general, so you understand
well,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
because
So,
it hasn't been
we
an
are,
option.
Those are your options.
No, but,
Okay, let
I didn't know there were other options until just now. That's all I've ever been told is I'm presented at the final PDT. Is that you're either gonna get 2 or 3 weeks in that generalized program. So sorry to interrupt, but.
You have to advocate for your child to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
well,
maybe
that's
not
getting
yet.
taken off.
so,
But if it's already planned out for you.
Well, that's predetermination, it's illegal under idea, so.
Why don't we let her
address that, so I-
explain what the
I hear
district
you're
plan
saying.
is, and then we
I
can
hear you.
add to it, because she hasn't explained it, what they're planning on doing. I'm kind of curious to see what the
Yeah.
plan is.
so one of the, I believe in the past, that children who have received academic supports have received them in the district. And that will continue. We have looked at having all the students have a home Spaulding where we can ensure that either Diane or I will be there, because there's times when other people are on vacations and we wanna be sure that there's an administrator available. In planning for students, so that addresses, and that's a morning program. You know what, I don't think I have the weeks off the top of my head.
July 5th to August 11th, I believe is right.
Thank you.
Do you
How
get
many
into
weeks is
middle
that,
school
John?
as well? Will we go into Spaulding?
Yes.
Or high schools?
No.
So up to middle school.
Okay, so Diana's been
Right.
working on this, and perhaps I have
Everything's
that
at
wrong.
Spaulding.
No, that's just
Everything's
McAllister
at
and
Spaulding.
So you're
There's
gonna
not
send a
gonna be-
high schooler to Spaulding?
How are they gonna sit in those chairs?
The cafeteria is very uncomfortable to sit in. It would have been better going to the high school than going to this.
So my reaction to that is, if the desks don't
I'm serious,
fit, then
that's
we'll
fine,
move
I'm
the
gonna do it.
desks for the kids, so.
I would worry about their self-esteem.
It's a psychological thing, I
That's
think,
true,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
When you have them, it's going backwards,
But
I
those
think.
chairs, have you sat in them?
So the majority of our students, who are attending ESY, are at the high school level, are our students in our life skills program, and much of their work is not actually in the classroom, it's out in the community or in work settings, so. So for those students, it will stay, fairly similar, and that's not the number of weeks I had heard, is 2 to 3 weeks, Lori, so
That's the lowest number I've ever heard. I thought we were at 4 weeks. Are we at 5 weeks?
4 or 6.
What is July 5th through 11th? Anybody?
That is 5 weeks.
It's 5 weeks
Not every
plus.
child has 5 weeks, and there's 6 weeks.
Yeah,
we do.
So-
That's how long the program's gonna be.
Their program.
Right.
One of the,
Their
one of the issues that was brought to my attention, one of the things I know from the past is that the goal of ESY then is to support students so they do not have regression and they continue to have, for students with social skills, they continue to have those social opportunities. So, but it requires that we have teaching there. So camp, without education involved is not really appropriate. It doesn't, to just send somebody to camp isn't really ESY, that's camp. Because
Can I
there isn't.
interject something there though, Nancy? And I know this was true for myself, especially in the summer for my son, who is on the autism spectrum, and social was the big push, right? And so we already as a district, have always struggled with social, right? It's the hardest thing, it is. I don't care who you talk to, social is the hardest thing. You can teach reading and you can teach writing, but that social piece is big for some kids. And so when I, looked at summer for my son, it was, hey, I need to make sure that social piece is being covered.
Well, I'm gonna talk about that.
Okay.
But thank you.
Because that's where camp came in for us, was my point.
Well,
Camp was social.
there's still a way to do
As long
instruction.
as it's not Parks and Rec plus a para, that doesn't matter.
There's a way to do instruction at camp, so.
Okay.
So, one of the things that I heard early on from Dr. Palmieri, was that he, did not see the JCC, which there was a small number of kids who went to last year for social skills, just a couple, as an appropriate setting. He thought it was chaotic, he didn't see instruction, and he didn't recommend it to us.
So he actually went and visited this
He was
program?
there to visit this summer, yeah.
He was there for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And to be honest with you,
So are
there
we,
was no documentation that he ever said such a thing.
Okay,
So I challenge him.
So,
okay. He said it to me a couple times, because I checked with him, so.
but again, he's not representative of, all of the people in this district. And so, if we are gonna truly create an individualized program, then to have one person come in and unilaterally say no, is a
Well-
bit scary to me.
Okay, I see him as a consultant with expertise in that area, so,
Well,
just so you
so you
know,
know,
But
also
has he seen the child before and after? Before the summer program starts and then after the program, to see the growth and the maturity and all of the benefits that have occurred?
Also, the instruction, they don't have an instruction component in the JCC program, and what happened was the para was sent with the educational component, and they were checked in by the BCBA, and they made fantastic progress for the 3 years that we had done it. So I can understand that you didn't see that component, because that's not built into the JCC program. Just to be clear on the
That's another model.
communication.
So, I'm starting to feel like this is getting to people talking about individual children
Right.
too.
No,
So-
I'm saying it's a
I think
JCC
we're all
program.
having the same problem.
We're all experiencing a similar problem with it.
Well, there were actually a very small number of children who went there, so.
But it doesn't matter the number, if you have a
No, there's
child that
five, I
is
think.
progressing on the program that's trying to bring back in again and hasn't progressed on the one thing that worked, why would you take that away from a child?
So our goal is to provide our students with an opportunity to be with typical peers from Suffield by working with our Parks and Rec team to come up with a program. So we've met with them, we started Karen and I meeting with them, Diane and I met with them, Diana has met with them, to talk about the things that were important to us. For example, not having competitive games, for our students to have a true sense of feeling included in the program. We will have a special ed teacher who is there for the time that the students are there, who is charged with working on their goals and objectives and supporting the paras while she's there. So, you know, we do feel like this is appropriate and is something we can provide in our own community.
And you have staff at this point to do that?
Yeah.
You have staff to cover?
Hiring, but
Oh, the
Can you
park and
tell-
rec would be at Sunrise Park.
Yeah, so
That's,
So that's a danger, my child couldn't go because of an open body of water and he could drown. It
Yeah,
wouldn't be safe. for
We've
my
had
child to
this,
go there.
we've had this conversation before, that Parks and Rec, what has happened traditionally is A, their staff is not trained to deal with special needs children. B, we do not have, it's not a it's a safety issue, it was for my son as well. But also that, they don't actually have time with their neurotypical peers. What would happen is you have because it is, you want chaotic.
when my
Very
child went to
different
morning
thing.
munches,
Wait,
it was like
can I
high
finish
school
this
kids.
just for a second?
Was it high school?
Can I just finish for a second? What happened in our experience is that the para and the special needs child would be in a corner, and everything else is happening over here. And that's my experience, and it's been other people's experience. I'm not trying to just do it on mine, but that we found that model didn't work. We tried YWCA, I believe was one of the things that they tried. They tried another program out in, what was it, Granby? Yeah, in Granby. So they tried a program there. They tried another Parks and Rec over in Windsor. All of those had been tried, and actually when they found the JCC, it was praised because it had staff that worked with autistic children. It was monitored, all these things, and we could include the BCBA and the educational component. So while I respectfully understand what you're bringing up, I would have great concern about
Can I make a
doing
comment
a
as well?
Spaulding and then Parks and Rec.
For anyone who doesn't know, I'm Melissa Mack, I'm the first selectman of the town of Suffield. This is news to me, which is frankly shocking. That the town side is going to take on the liability associated with all of our very wonderfully talented special
I
children
don't think
in the
did
summer.
I not say this, that, the students that are going have one-to-one paras with them, so it's not that the camp staff is gonna have the,
I thought you mentioned you had one para going.
no, I'm sorry,
One
there's,
special
ed
there's
teacher.
a teacher,
Because I
but
can,
there will be, the students who are going, I mean, have significant needs for their social skills, so there will be a para, students will have paras with them,
because
so.
we hire summer
Correct.
staff, they could
Correct.
come, it's a very competitive process to hire the summer staff because we are a great program. However, they are kids in college, they are kids in high
Right.
school, they
And
are
we've
not
had those
qualified.
conversations with Wendy, I can't speak to why she
Okay.
hasn't talked to you about it, so.
Well, that's another question there, but, as a parent of a special ed child and my position of the town, I don't know if I can accept this. And so I would just voice that.
I also have to say, it concerns me, and again, I haven't heard much about the plan because it doesn't seem like it's really developed. And so you're saying you are putting your children with the most extensive needs into this program that's really not vetted, really not staffed, and doesn't have the manpower to do that, when in fact, some of these children, whoever they may be, because I'm talking as a district, that have found summer camps that have peers, typical peers. They may not be from Suffield, but sometimes it's nice to bridge out and have a little, Suffield is a very homogeneous group, and it's nice to have some diversity. So So that's a nice thing, and again, some of these other camps that some of the kids have been in, are inclusive camps that have been around for years, not, okay, now we're gonna roll out a program, and that might be wonderful in 5 years, you know, when it's really vetted for those really, intensive needs kids, maybe you can bring them in, but to me, those really intensive needs kids should be protected and should be brought into a situation in which they're going to flourish and have the supports they need. And this to me seems very knee-jerk, very quick, and I don't think at all individualized. It is 3 hours a week, three hours at Spaulding, and 3 hours, they're gonna bus them over to Sunrise Park, regardless of the fact that a kid may have huge transition issues and everything else. And that to me is not a community that's working with the needs of a child. It's a community that's putting kids, for lack of a better word, and I say this with all due respect, in a box. And so it's disappointing, because it's not catch-all. And to say that you're doing this to the kids who have the most extensive needs is actually very concerning.
Well, it's gonna be our students who need social skills, and those students have been, again, sent to another program, not in district, where we don't have, Diana overseeing ESY, right in town. We don't have a special ed teacher there all day. I mean, it still is not a particularly large number of students, frankly, so still is a small group of students.
And again, if you're gonna individualize them, and like you said, baby, the number one thing for the summer is social skills and social awareness, and to have counselors that know how to deal with that and are specifically trained for that. And that is what the camp does, or some other camp, and again, the issue also goes to the number of hours. I know that there's some children in this district that have gotten 6 weeks of ESY, and what you're proposing is 5 weeks, 4 days, and that's a reduction in services. And I have heard that doesn't matter.
So remember, ESY is about maintenance of skills.
Doesn't matter.
As much as a parent, I always cringed when I heard that, because I would say, God forbid my kid make progress over the summer, like that's the worst thing that could ever happen. But it's for maintenance of skills.
Yeah.
So, it should be individualized, but yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, but how can you 1 year say they need 6 weeks, and now all of a
I
sudden
totally agree.
administration's coming in and saying,
And
we're
I
gonna
spoke
do
with the
5
State
weeks, 4
Department,
days.
informed me this topic brief, and I highlighted the things that we said, are the most important, and things are not to make progress,
I know.
but non-regression of skills. Things that are on an individual basis, they are not limited, by particular categories of disability. So while there are some kids, we say it's a small number, the smallest number of an individual, program is 1. That's all you need. You can't unilaterally limit the type, amount, or duration of those services. And you want to be able to, that you can interact with other non-disabled students, not necessarily in Suffield, although that would be great, but it's just non-disabled peers. So I want to be sure that we're all on the same page with that, and people of the state.
It's not the qualifiers though that you bring into, that's what this program consists of.
Yeah.
There's many reasons for qualifying. We often talk about 1 or 2. But it is a perfect opportunity to work on social skills, because we don't have a lot of time during the school year.
Yeah.
And it is an opportunity, because it's very difficult to have them, and if they do, they certainly lose them if they're not having that
I think we're
opportunity.
finding more and more ways to embed them in what we do in schools, consciously.
I mean, me as a parent, when I look at the qualifiers, I feel like almost every kid qualifies, the opposite of the way I think the school system sees it. Not that everyone would want to take advantage of it, but that opportunity is important to many, many kids, not just a small number.
Nancy, can you talk about the layout and the staffing for the program, in both settings, like, who'll be in building, who'll be, on site of the camp?
I would be happy to
How
do
many
that, but
people?
Diana, and unfortunately, she wasn't able to be here tonight, is really better prepared to do that than I am, so
Okay.
she can certainly speak to that at our next meeting.
I think we have one more, is everybody satisfied with that? And we really need to let these people go home, but, we have one more kind of subject, I think, about our preschool and the changes that we're kind of roll out as a district and what those look like, so maybe we can jump to that. with that?